Hello, I'm Amanda. Welcome to my channel, Amanda Gets Growing. So I want to give you a very quick tour, whistle-stop tour of my back garden. I saw recently that the great Charles Dowding, Mr. No Dig himself, who I'm sure you've all heard of, or if you haven't, you really need to check out his work because he's such an inspiration. He did a tour of his small garden. And I thought, well, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. Why would I show you my acres of growing space when I could show you my back garden? So that's what I'm going to do. You may remember that back in March, or you might not have seen it, I gave a brief tour of my back garden because when I moved in, it was just a patio and lawn. And I transformed it into a productive growing space, which is what I'm going to show you today. And actually, at the time, I didn't have a picture to show you what it looked like previously, but I've since found one on one of the moving sites. And hopefully, my editing skills are up to scratch. I'm going to put it up here. I'll try. I will try, people. Yeah, and obviously in that video, because it was March, beginning of March, I think it was, there wasn't really a lot to show you. I had a few kale that had overwintered, some perennials. But yeah, it was quite quiet. And now we've had this amazing warm spell in the UK, well, certainly in the south of England where I am. And things have come on so much that there's a lot that I can show you and talk about and hopefully give you ideas for your garden. So here I am out in my back garden. I apologise now if you're getting a lot of wind. It's a very breezy day here today. So yeah, if you remember my video back from the beginning of March, it looked nothing like this. This is such a transformation. I had such empty beds. Nobody wants an empty bed, right? It's just a philosophy of life. But yeah, look at it now. It's chock full. So much to show you and talk about. And hopefully I can give you some ideas because really at this time of year, there aren't many things that you've missed the sowing date for. And even if you've missed the sowing date, you can probably still get the plants from the garden centre. So you're still in time for many, many things. So yeah, let's take a look. Over here, I have my raspberry plant by the pond. And yeah, that raspberry plant is bombing away. So hopefully I'm going to get some lovely fruits this year. It's next to here, this beautiful mauve flower called Bowles Mauve. What a fantastic flower this is. It was even flowering over the winter in my garden. Yeah, I've got a kale. It didn't do anything during the winter, but now it's looking like it might do something this summer. So I've just left it. And on top of that, this is funny. I bought some new Nepeta yesterday. The reason why I bought some new Nepeta is because I had one in here, just here. This is a separate plant. And this poor plant here, it never seemed to grow very much. It always looked a bit dead. And I found the culprit. There's a male cat that comes to my garden, and not only does he like to roll in it, he's also eating it every time he comes. So basically it never gets to grow. So yeah, I've bought a new one, which hopefully will basically I'm feeding his habit. It's quite funny. But yeah, this is here as a bee plant. So yeah, I try to grow a mix of food that you can eat and plants that are good for pollinators together, just to keep that balance in the garden, which is all important. But yeah, and yeah, some more comfrey over here. The more comfrey, the better, really, I think, in terms of fertilising and making good compost for your garden. And again, a fantastic bee plant. And on the subject of fantastic bee plants, just under my raspberry here, I've got some borage. And of course, borage is fantastic because these blue flowers, not only are they adored by bees, but they have like a cucumber taste. And they're just fantastic to put in salads and things like that. I'd like now to show you my blueberries, which are flowering and looking really beautiful. They've got really beautiful flowers actually, I think. Yeah, that's the thing of beauty, isn't it? Yeah, they're looking a lot healthier than the video where I talked about how to grow blueberries, because I think again I filmed that very early on in the season, and they just look like a collection of sticks really. But yeah, it's a shame my blueberries are alive. Now, one of the tips I do have for you, if you're growing blueberries at home and you don't live in an area where they have the acidic soil, the ericaceous soil that they need to grow, it's not a good idea to use tap water when you water the plants, because that can take the acidity out of the soil. However, you know, when you've had a dry spell like what we've had recently, it's very hard to always have other water to hand, right? Because even if you have water butts, those butts can dry out quite quickly when you're using them, and they're not being replenished. So one of the things you can do is you can actually put some tap water. You know, you can use your hose, put it in a watering can or whatever, leave it overnight, and then water your blueberries. Now, it's not perfect, but it is better than using the water straight from the hose. I would like to give you a very quick update from my Victorian Growhouse. Now, this is something I bought for the first time this year because I've been having a lot of issues with some of the cheaper alternatives on the market, either being blown over by the wind or basically being destroyed by cats, where my cat jumped on the top and the roof collapsed in of the plastic see-through sheet. So I bought this grow house to hopefully bring on my tomatoes and so on, and I'm really happy with the results. If I show you, I've got some really healthy looking tomato plants here. And yeah, I don't think it will be long before I can put them in the tubs in the front garden. I'm just waiting really for the nights to get a bit warmer, because we've actually got a couple of quite cold nights in the forecast. Although I did see that you can also use fleece to put over your tomato plants, so that's another option there. While I'm here, I'd also like to talk a little bit about my seed compost experiment. So if you remember, I planted some courgette seeds in 4 different types of compost. And last week I gave an update that the coir mix, I'd had one courgette plant germinate. Well, I've got another update for you this week. Oh, the suspense. The coir mix now has 2 very healthy looking courgette plants. Look how healthy they look. Really happy with that, because honestly it's just me, and probably 2 plants is more than enough courgettes for one woman. But yeah, the other mixes, look, they haven't germinated at all. There's no plants there at all. And I find that kind of fascinating. So from this experiment, it does seem like courgette seeds are really favouring the coir mix. And I've come to the conclusion that certainly in future growing years, if I'm growing something like courgettes, tomatoes, you know, these plants from warmer climates that have so much to do in such a short growing time in the UK, and you know, they need a lot of nutrients, I've come to the conclusion that the coir mix seems to be by far the best mix to use to give them that head start. You know, these are 2 weeks behind, assuming they germinate at all, which, you know, who knows. So yeah, that's the Victorian Grow House. I have a new addition to my garden. I just planted this a few weeks ago. It's called Good King Henry. It's an interesting name because the other alternative name for it is poor man's asparagus. I don't know about us poor women, whether or not I'm allowed to eat it or not. But yeah, it's a type of leafy green. I haven't tried it yet. I'd love to try it. Oh, look at that. I've got a bee on my comfy there. Beautiful. Well timed, Mr. Bee. So yeah, that's a new addition to the garden, and I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. And it's in here amongst all my lovely rainbow chard. I mean, they have such beautiful stems, don't they? And I do think rainbow chard is just the most delicious plant. I love it in salads. I love to put it sort of at the end of, like, I don't know, in like a pasta dish or something like that. Just lovely. Yeah, so that's Good King Henry. And there are my chard, looking very healthy. Some of these have been in since the winter last year, so probably I'll be putting some new plants in here soon, just to kind of get some new growth and sort of tasty, fresh new growth. And let me show you the next bed. In this bed here, I've got a lot of the broad bean plants that I sowed earlier in the year. I've got no idea how one woman is going to eat this number of boiled beans, but I might have to do some freezing of the what I have left over. And yeah, I do love the flowers. I do think they're really stunning flowers. I think they're lovely plants, actually. I would grow them in a flower bed. And I've also been using the shoots here at the top in salads. They've kind of got like a pea-like flavour. Absolutely delicious. Really, really lovely. And then over here I've got a kale that's left over from the winter. I've just left it there because the bees love the flowers so much, and at the moment I don't really need the space, so I've left it there for the bees. And yeah, at the back, look how healthy my strawberry plants are looking. Again, it looks like it's going to be a really good year for berries. I mean, I just think I can't wait. Actually, I just hope the blackbirds leave me some, because I've got quite a few blackbirds, and I do know that blackbirds absolutely love strawberries. But yeah, they're looking really healthy, aren't they? Can't wait. Now in the bed behind, I have got quite a lot of red sorrel. Possibly too much red sorrel. I think I need to thin that out. Again, this is a salad plant, and I've got there the bull's blood, which is again really fantastic in salads. It's got a beetroot flavour. Here I have my salad burnet, which is, again, it's a salad plant. No surprises for guessing that. I'm quite intrigued actually, because I see it's flowering. And I don't know if that means that it's going to flower and die, or I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. It's got these kind of pink tinged flowers. I do really love salad burnet, so I hope it isn't going to die. But just in case, I took some root cuttings from it, just in case. What I discovered was that salad burnet is linked to the sanguisorba family, and in that family there's lots of different flowers, really unusual flowers actually, that for some reason we don't grow a lot of here in the UK. But if you're looking for an unusual plant with fantastic leaves and to put in your garden, check out the sanguisorbas. Like, for example, I used to grow one called lilac squirrel with and the reason why it's called lilac squirrel is because it has these flowers that kind of droop down almost like a squirrel's tail, these mauve flowers, and it's absolutely stunning. So might be worth checking out if you're looking for something new to add to your flower bed. But certainly salad burnet in terms of salad plants is really delicious. I really love it, and I have it quite often, so I hope the plant isn't going to die afterwards. Again, my chives are thinking about flowering too. It's obviously this hot, dry weather that we've had that's just encouraging everything to want to flower. Here then is the bed closest to the house. As you can see, it's been a little bit overtaken by the forget-me-nots, but yeah, they're such a lovely plant. I've left them. They'll be done soon. So coming in amongst the usual suspects of my garden, like the sorrel and the boar beans and so on, I have this plant here, which is a new addition. It's called a tree spinach, so it's a type of perennial spinach. It's the first time I'm trying to grow it, and I'm really interested to see, well, one, I'm really interested to see how tall it grows, since it's called a tree spinach. Although this bed is closest to the house, and I think traditional gardening wisdom would tell you not to plant the tall plants right at the front, I actually really like doing that because it gives kind of a jungly effect, and then also it breaks up the garden into different rooms, so it doesn't feel as small. I mean, that's just my opinion, but that's what I like to do. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what that's like and how it tastes as it gets a little bit bigger. I think it might be a bit dry at the moment, which I guess it's not surprising given how dry it's been over the past few weeks. And then finally, here's a plant. This is chocolate mint. Yeah, if you like after eights, try chocolate mint. Obviously I've left it in a pot because mint plants are very invasive, but yeah, I think that's going to make a lovely tea, lovely chocolatey minty tea. I'm going to be interested to try. So that concludes my small gardening tour. I don't know if it was quite up to the great Charles Downing standards, but it certainly shows that you don't need to be a gardening expert to grow a huge amount of food at home, and a huge variety too. It's really amazing how much my small garden is able to produce. I mean, last year it was the first year that I've been growing here, and I didn't need to buy any salad plants or any leafy green plants at all. I was fully self sufficient. And I think this year I'm going to be fully self sufficient in raw beans, that's for sure. I'm going to be drowning in the things, but anyway, I love raw beans, so that's no issue. And yeah, and also, as you can see here, one of the real joys for me about growing from home is that you can try lots of weird and wacky varieties you just can't get in the shops. You know, I'm not going to be able to get good King Henry at Tesco, or like the salad Burnett, which I think is so delicious. I'm not getting that in Sainsbury's. So it's a real chance just to try out new foods and varieties that you just wouldn't get. And I think, you know where that food comes from, right? So I know I grow all of this organically. I know it's all healthy, and that's a huge thing too. So yeah, I hope that's given you lots of good ideas. And I'd be really interested to know if there's anything you're growing that's new in your garden this year, maybe that I don't have that you think I should try. I'd love to hear about that. So yeah, drop me a note in the comments. And until next time, thanks for watching.